Third game in this Broncos jumper for Adam Reynolds. Winner first up back in round 2. And they got the cash against the Bulldogs back at Accor Stadium at Homebush in Sydney. Big losers though last week, 38 points to 12. They went down to the team that used to be their little brother in the North Queensland Cowboys. That relationship has certainly turned around so far in 2022. We'll see how they fare today against the Warriors. A big game for both clubs because the loser of this one feeling a bit sick and sorry. Broncos, after a bright start in the opening couple of weeks, they want to drop 2 in a row, while the Warriors, a loss would make them 1 and 3. But Adam Reynolds, his kicking game in particular, on a firm, fast surface, could be pivotal once again today.
And his leadership around the park. The Broncos team is stacked with individual talent, from the fullback to the front rowers. I just want to see him put a team performance. If they can put that team performance together for 80 minutes, they'll get the job done today, because they've just got too much talent.
They were certainly outkicked last week. Payne Haas can give them a bit of a front foot service in the middle of the park, can't he, with his storming runs, the minutes he plays as well, the motor he possesses. He's been enormous to begin his 2022 campaign over the first 3 rounds. The Warriors have mixed their form. Perhaps their worst effort was the game they won last week against the Tigers. Nathan Brown, their coach, unhappy with what they showed at Campbelltown last Saturday, but boy, they got the job done. That's all that matters. They're on the board as they arrive here for their first appearance at Redcliffe. They'll be back at home in early July at Mount Smart Stadium. Wade Egan has been impressive, scoring tries in the dummy half role, and Sean Johnson makes his first appearance since round 1. He's been out with a pec strain.
Yeah, and Matt Lodge up against his old side, the Brisbane Broncos, in the media this week about his departure from the Broncos, so I expect some big things and some big clashes there with his other front rower, Payne Haas. 2 big blocks of flats coming together.
A couple of old Broncos in the Warriors lineup today. Matt Lodge, one of them. Jesse Arthurs, who'll be a Bronco again as things stand. He's on loan at the moment for the Warriors from the Broncos. He'll be back there in 2023. And well, another former Bronco, never played in the NRL for them, but Reece Walsh was a superstar coming through the junior ranks, somehow escaped the clutches of the Brisbane Broncos to link up with the Warriors mid-season early in 2021. And he cemented his place as their fullback from that point on, taking over that role from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, no less. They are ready for a start here at Moreton Daily Stadium. Adam Reynolds gets us underway. The kick will go down to be taken there by Walsh. Sound the alarms, because here comes Matt Lodge, and he'll play it 5 short of the 20. And Fanua Blake working it forward, stopped there by Carrigan downstairs. Reshaped edge back rowers today for Kevin Walters and the Broncos, with both Jordan Ricky and Kurt Capewell out through injury. Kunin Palacia on one side, TC Rabati on the other for Brisbane. Here's Lodge going nowhere here. Kelly was there, so was Farnworth. But the outside backs getting involved in that play. Jastavunga in the starting side for the Warriors to begin this one. Last tackle in this opening set. They'll come back to Johnson, who lofts one. Plenty of carry as well. They'll go down to Tessie New, had his issues under the high ball last week, being outleapt by Jeremiah Nana, who scored a couple in the second half, up above the Brisbane fullback and outside backs. We'll see how Tessie New goes today. Oates comes in for a carry to play it here just outside the 30. Carrigan, step at the line, grabbed there by Tavunga. Bright sunny conditions. It is terrific to see. Go for spinning the ball, giving the backs plenty of chances as Haas beats the drum up through the middle, though, to set the tone for the Broncos. A couple of plays remaining in this set. Flegler, first game back off the back of a 4-game suspension, which extends all the way back to the end of last season. Reynolds now with the kick. Walsh standing underneath it, trying to get a foot back there to the in goal. Couldn't quite make it. Makes a good catch, though, all the same. And the Warriors begin just inside their own 10.
Yeah, real good defensive set by the Broncos, backed up by a real powerful set in yardage from that man, Payne Haas, and his other front row partner. And then a nice kick a metre out from the try line. Warriors trucking it out from their end now.
Ed Kosey on this right wing, the reshuffled back line for the Warriors, taking a carry. Rocco Berry out of the team with a virus. Kosey comes in and Adam Pompey shifts into the centres. Now Egan comes back here to Johnson once again. Similar kick to the first one. Not an easy one to take by any stretch here for Corey Oates. The veteran winger makes a nice catch, having just brought up his century of tries a couple of weeks ago against the Bulldogs in round 2. Downstairs for the first time to Corey Parker.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Yeah, perfect conditions up here in Queensland as we'd expect. There's been plenty of rain over the southeast of recent times, but today is perfect. Pretty strong breeze at the back of the Warriors. Opted to kick off, and it's been a terrific start by their bookends, Matt Lodge and also Adam Fanua-Blake, as we see the Broncos come down this left edge through Herbie Farnworth. Terrific game we should have on our hands here. After last week's performance, the Broncos will be looking to make amends for that, and the Warriors looking to build on their season.
Chance here for the Broncos to build on a half chance down that left-hand side. Corey, looking forward to your comments throughout the day as Turpin goes to Tessie New, chips over the top. Battle between the two young fullbacks there. Walsh comes out on top in this little situation. A nice kick, though, from Tessie New, and good to see he's got the confidence to try it.
Yeah, he saw the fullback in the line. He just went over the top, and now they get a penalty coming out of their end. Really interesting to see Sean Johnson's approach to his kicking game, where he's rather putting him up as high as he can in the air rather than getting field position, trying to force an error from the Brisbane Broncos back three, where the Brisbane Broncos just punching it down into the corner, making sure that the Warriors have got to come off their try line.
Some cheap meters here off the back of the penalty. First one in the game as Johnson kicks towards the grandstand or western side of Moreton Daily Stadium. Those empty seats on the eastern side slowly filling up. And there's a sold-out stadium today, as you would expect. The Broncos just up the road from home. Fanua-Blake, 40 out from the Broncos line. Will play it for Egan. Goes through the hands of Tavunga. Now Lodge. Met there in a tackle. Downstairs was Robati. Here's Tavunga again. Tipping it on. Johnson goes flat. Curran playing on this right-hand side for the Warriors. Being a middle forward for the first 3 weeks. Johnson now down the short side. Lovely ball to Jesse Arthurs. As simple as that, the Warriors at the first chance cracked the Brisbane Broncos inside their 20. It's one of their old boys, the Lone Star. Jesse Arthurs on loan from the Broncos in 2022 scores first points today for the Warriors.
Well, this is what we know Sean Johnson can do. He controlled the set there. Really concerning signs for the Brisbane Broncos. They had no line speed whatsoever, and the Warriors just got over the ad line. And as you see, Sean Johnson going deep into the line and just getting his outside man just to hit the space. That's exactly what Jesse Arthurs did. He just hit the space, really goes through untouched for the first try. Worrying signs for the Broncos with no line speed. Some really good signs for the Warriors about playing over the ad line off that man, Sean Johnson.
Terrific ball, wasn't it, by Johnson? He was able to draw and pass. Coming up out of the line, the Broncos don't get to Johnson in time, and well, they swamped Jesse Arthurs, who no doubt would enjoy that try against his old club. Now he's due to be a Bronco again next season. That could be in a state of flux, that situation, though, because Herbie Farnworth looking to re-sign to stay with the Broncos. Obviously, Tony Staggs is going nowhere. So if Farnworth is locked up for some 2 or 3, 4 years down the track, might not be a path there for Jesse Arthurs to play a lot of first grade in the future. So he could well eventually stay with the Warriors. They'd love to have him.
Yeah, and you never know, he might love to stay. So he's doing a really good job at the moment, and as you saw there, a real class to understand where the space was and explode in, making sure his half just got in the football.
So Arthurs doing the right thing and bringing it around almost behind the black dot. Reece Walsh makes no mistake from close range. It's 6-0 here early on in Redcliffe this afternoon, Corey.
Yeah, terrific start, particularly down this short side from Sean Johnson and all the Broncos. Jesse Arthurs there, as you mentioned, was here to try and secure a contract here at the Warriors, and also Reece Walsh, who's kicked that goal, 6 points to the Warriors, but a terrific start, which has been a bit of their Achilles heel over recent times. The Warriors, their starts, they're conceding around 30 points in that 20-minute zone. So great start with a lot of intent, particularly off their bookends.
Well, the Warriors would certainly like their chances today with this reshuffled edge rotation. Of course, Kenan Palasi had his issues last week against the Cowboys in that game, and then Tisu Rabati on the other side. So Sean Johnson might be licking his lips thinking he can expose those two edge forwards today.
Well, that was evident in that play then. Keenan came up and in, only had eyes for his back rower and didn't split his vision. So, and obviously he needs to do that. Hasn't played a lot on the edge, but he needs to go forward and split his vision and not have only eyes for the football.
His form has been good, starting in the front row. Different role today as it was at times last week when Ricky was out of the game with that rib cartilage problem.
Marcus straight, Tom. Wait, mate. Wait.
Just outside the 40 here, there'll be a delay because Wade Egan has picked up a knock to the lower leg or ankle potentially. Flegler grabs a hold of him. Rabati is there, and all we can see there as he spins underneath the body weight of Thomas Flegler, and he's picked up a problem to that right ankle.
Yeah, while we're talking about edge back rowers, it's so different than playing in the middle. When you go to the edge, you've got to protect your half. You've got numbers coming, you've got lead runners, and you've got players out the back, and you've got to split your vision, but you also got to keep your feet moving. And sometimes your feet are going out when you should be staying square. Sometimes you're turning in when you should be staying square. So a lot of decisions to be made real quickly, and your movements are so crucial in that position.
We'll see how Palacia adjusts after that first effort where Johnson was able to hit Arthurs in space. Concerns here for Wade Egan while the trainer takes a look at him. Might give him the standing 8 count as well, but he's okay. Don't forget, Fox League's new show, Benji. Hang on, we've got a player placed on report here.
Yeah, he's saying it's like a hip drop. You know, he tackles around his legs, and then his body comes in contact with Egan's ankle. And I'm not quite sure if it's the hip drop that we've seen before, but he's on report.
It didn't look like that by any measure watching the replays, but that might bear looking at once again if we do get a chance in the next couple of moments. So Flegler on report. I mentioned Benji Marshall, his new show on 7:30 on Monday nights. Killing It is Benji this week. Tyson Frizzell and Dane Gagai, special guests on the lounge with Benji. 7:30 on Monday night. Here is Fanua Blake as the Warriors come inside the 20 for the second time in this first half. Egan, an ankle looks to be okay. That's a good sign as he jumps out of dummy half. Just out Robati and Reynolds there. 5 metres out. He'll play it for Aitken. Comes back now from Aristobita and then goes way there. Walsh grabbed very quickly. Good defence this time on this left-hand side by the Broncos. Farnworth jamming and getting to his man in time. Comes back now to Vunga. He's punted towards the uprights. They've got one more play here. Johnson counting numbers on the right-hand side. They'll go to him. Out the back, Walsh is there. Not played it by Farnworth. This should be play on. It is. Oates is away. Walsh will grab him from behind. Montoya got there very late. Needs to be careful. And now Kelly trying to keep the pressure going. The Warriors scrambling defensively. Good heads-up piece of play there by Corey Oates. Set restart now given away by Montoya as the Broncos will go to the right-hand side. Reynolds over the top. A chance out wide. Cobbo, plenty of speed. The ball back on the inside was forward.
Yeah, I'm sure he wished he had that again, young Cobbo. He goes down the sideline there, shows some good speed, nearly got to the outside of his opposition player and pushes the pass back on the inside. Tony Staggs complaining that he was held back in support.
There's no way to raise the elbow there of Farnworth. He certainly wasn't playing at the ball, wasn't hedging his bets. So that was play on.
Yeah, but it's a strange one because if you play at the ball, even if you're not playing at the ball,
yep,
it can be still classed as 6 again.
Yep, sure.
showed some wheels to catch him, but didn't he, Reece Walsh?
Watch it again here as he goes to the line. No, he was coming out, making a tackle. Quite often we see that call playing at nonetheless, but that would have been a tough call from mine. It goes against what we normally see. There's no doubt about that. It almost brought the Broncos points. Davida here with the scrum feed for the Warriors. Not quite 10 gone. Frantic opening. The Warriors on top. 6-0 early here on Super Saturday. 26th season. Super Saturday being brought to you live on Fox League. Good carry. Arthur's coming in off the right-hand side. His body at the big men in the middle of the field for the Broncos. Vanilla Blake likewise. Plays it here for Egan. Now Lodge.
Just losing that contact battle. Every one of those carries poked his nose through the line.
Back here across the halfway line with another play beyond this as well. Tavunga. Play it for Egan. Comes back to Johnson, who will kick towards the corner. Kosi pouring down the field, looking to put some pressure here on Corey Oates. Doesn't get to him. Curran, though, does. After he went past both Kosi and also Arthurs. Good work by Curran to wrap him up, otherwise he might have had some big meters once again.
And this is where Shaun Johnson needs to come in and calm this side down. Just continue to keep going forward and placing the ball in the bottom corner. Do it set after set after set, not get bored of it.
And the Broncos get their first penalty here to relieve some pressure. See what they can offer in the next set. Should begin to the inside of halfway with Reynolds to find the line. Kicking into a slight breeze in this first half. The Warriors certainly have the northerly over their shoulders in this opening 40. So it's Turpin. There in the back line. Oh, pass and a chance taken there. An awful ball. It put Farnworth under all sorts of pressure, and on play one, the Broncos had a set play in mind. They would like that decision back again.
What a shot through the middle. It was a really good read. He comes up and in, has really good contact just as he's catching the football and forces the error through his team.
Great work by Ed Kosi. Get a chance. His right-hand side, playing just his 6th game in the NRL, and off the back of it, to add insult to potential injury here, Farnworth is being checked for a problem with his leg.
He just looks to have picked up a little injury with his knee there. Might be buying a little bit of time, particularly from that shot from Kosi. Haven't they had some great wingers over the years? For instance, Melly, Vatu Vay, to name a few, that can just rattle the cage, and a poor pass, had to reach for it, just gets up underneath Kosi, able to jolt the ball free, and the Warriors will be in a terrific field position again to try and post some points.
But Kelly double pumped that ball. He'd like that decision back again. He would hang on to it instead of giving hospital pass to Herbie Farnworth. You saw that right leg under the body weight there of Kosi on the replay just extend and straighten awkwardly as Kosi came down on top of him. The good news for the Englishman, as it looks as though he's okay. But in good form, he's been outperforming Tony Staggs by some measure as far as carries and also metres per game. Farnworth's been averaging 140 metres a game. Tony Staggs just 65 for the Broncos. There has been a talking point how quiet Tony Staggs has been to begin this new season. So Lodge here, just outside the Broncos 30. Strong 12 minutes gone. Harris to Vita. Back on the inside there of TC Rabadi. They keep testing out those edge forwards. Egan again. Comes back to Fanua Blake. He'll take it towards Jake Turpin. Nothing doing there. 10 metres out though. 2 plays remaining. Here's Johnson back on the inside. Tavunga hitting a good tackle. Working hard from the inside was Turpin. One more play. Goes to Harris to Vita. He'll bomb away. Cobbo here under pressure. A juggle, a bobble. It came back to him.
I've already jumped from outside. It will get looked at. On the goal line.
There's going to be a goal line dropout.
Yeah, pretty good set by the New Zealand Warriors. They have a shot down on Shaun Johnson's edge, and then they come back to this other side, and Ewan Aiken goes high for the ball. And they've ruled that Cobbo jumped from the field of play into the in goal to gain possession. I think he might be right.
Left foot was very close to being on the line, but not quite there. So good call on field by Chris Sutton, our referee. The Broncos go short. Not a bad one either. Oates is there, taps it backwards. They'll get a result. They gamble and win early in the first half.
Well, the only gamble is that you don't get it 10 metres. Corey Oates is always going to contest the football, and they've got numbers around it. May as well use him if you've got him there. He's a talent in the air.
We've seen teams go with that tactic exclusively in the past for a while there, back under the coaching of Des Hasler. The Bulldogs, 2016, 2017, they went short pretty much every time. The Broncos get a result here. If you don't get a result, at worst, the opposition has it 25 metres out or thereabouts. It's not doesn't cost you a lot by going short and failing to get possession.
Correct. And sometimes if you turn the ball right over on the 10-metre line, some sides aren't that great at attacking so close to the try line. They need some space. So, you know, it's risk versus reward, and they've come up with the reward that time, the Broncos.
So they force the Warriors to work it away here from their own end, as opposed to getting a full set deep inside the red zone as Harris DeVita finds Adam Pompey. Barty is there, so is Haas. They'll play it 5 short of the halfway line. Matt Lodd looks up. Speed there off the line. Turpin had Reynolds coming with him. Helping Flegler as well. Might be feeling it now. First game back, Tom Flegler. Warm afternoon. Here's Walsh. Arthurs. Stop there. A good tackle by Albert Kelly. Last play here for the home side, the Warriors at Redcliffe. It's Johnson. Puts it in the air, out wide, taken there by Cobbo, pouring onto it. That was a confident take from a young winger. Let that one hit the deck, it could have gone anywhere. His hands were true. And Tony Staggs will play it here for the Broncos.
Yeah, Sean Johnson's kicking game's been a real feature of the first opening 15 minutes of the game, but that one just come off the side of his boot, didn't get land where he wanted it, and Cobbo comes forward with an outstanding take.
An exciting talent he is, Selwyn Cobbo. Carrigan, good offload here. Turpin sees some space in front of him. Closes as Fanua Blake comes back with Egan to shut the door. Last play for the Broncos. Goes to Reynolds, who'll kick it across the field, trying to hang one in the breeze. Who gets there to make a challenge? Farnworth is there. It came off his head.
Yeah, first Brisbane.
The touch initially, though. Hand and then off the head. A little falcon, a mini falcon there from Herbie Farnworth. It was off his hand, onto his own head. Play on there. And then touched by Albert Kelly into a Warrior.
Been a feature of their game, also coming right off their try line. Some real powerful players. They shift out to the left and they've got some space.
Here's Poppy trying to get to the outside there of Tony Staggs. Now Montoya back in behind the play the ball. Harris DeVita. Johnson gives it to Fanua Blake. Goes across the halfway line. Leaders are coming very easily for the Warriors in the majority of these sets early in the game. Their handling has been good. Johnson, short ball there for Matt Lodge. One more here from just outside the 30. What does Johnson do as far as a kick this time is concerned? He'll take it to the line. In fact, he'll put it through the hands and take them on himself. Not tackled. Play on. Walsh loses it in the contact. Tessie New comes up with it. Does some dancing. Sees some space. He's away. Grabbed from behind by Tavunga and also Curran. Terrific work by the Broncos fullback. They'll shift it immediately. The Warriors scrambling. Rabati sees some clear air. Stopped only just by Fanua Blake. That's a big effort in the front row to get back there and close that gap. Now Haas runs towards Aitken. Fanua Blake there again, getting through a power of work. Reynolds goes to Carrigan. Back towards the right-hand side, dumps it on the ground, gives it straight back to the Warriors.
Just on the ground from Chanel.
He come up with a beautiful offload back on the 20-metre line. And then he just pushes this last one. It didn't need to be made. Just get down and play the ball and build some more pressure. Both sides struggle to build pressure.
Well, they're going to get lucky here, the Broncos, because Chanel Harris-Davida, in diving on the ball, has knocked it on off his pass, which went nowhere from Carrigan. He reached over the top. It went backwards out of the hands, but it looked like a simple change off possession, but little bobble there from Harris-Davida, and the Broncos will hang on to it. A real bonus set coming up here for Brisbane. The Eastern Grandstand has certainly filled, hasn't it, from the empty seats we had at kick-off. As Turpin from the back of the scrum finds Reynolds, goes over the top. Farnworth, he couldn't reel it in. They're going to get a penalty anyway. The Warriors being offside. Could have been so much better, though, had Farnworth been able to grab that pass from Reynolds.
Yeah, and it's a tactic a lot of sides use from a scrum. Just get offside, give a penalty away if we have to, but we don't want to give 6 or 4 away. So get up early, and test the referee. If you give a penalty away, so be it.
They undid them pretty simply with Oates, the decoy, back on the angle. Farnworth makes that catch. He strolls in untouched. Here's Haas. Only about 8 metres away. The Broncos looking for their first points of the game. Turpin goes to Carrigan. Kelly was there. He changes angle once again and goes back the other way. This time, well, no, in fact, he does pop another one. It comes here to Rabati. It's going to be a penalty, though, for an obstruction play,
which then allows him to pass the ball and play on.
Carrigan going in behind a support player.
Was, mate.
You don't know who?
I'm not sure who the player was.
You don't know who obstructed. What the fuck? I'm just singing.
Back we go, mate.
Apologies for the rather fruity objections of Payne Haas.
Thanks, mate.
Well, Flegler went through the line. Payne Haas ducked away from the line.
Yeah, that's a strange one. Well, Payne Haas was there, and he's really the only player that obstructed anyone. He was in front of the ball, but he didn't run behind him.
So again, here's Flegler. 4-5 passes him. He goes straight through the line. That's all good there. And then Haas was thereabouts, and then he ducked out of the way of Aitken, but never went behind Payne Haas. I think that's a very, very tough call.
Yeah, I agree. It's a strange one as well, because as I said, he didn't run behind Payne Haas, and the other player was behind the defensive line, which he's out of play. So a tough one for the Broncos in really good field position. Both of these sides just need to build pressure, back-to-back sets, apply some try line pressure, get a repeat set if you can't get a try. But at the moment, just one set each, building no pressure, building no fatigue.
Well, we're going to have a drinks break.
Just a real lack,
with Corey, rather, with the temperature up there in Redcliffe. It's a warm one.
Yeah, it's running up and down.
It is a warm one up here. Wasn't aware of the drinks break, to be fair, but it's a real lack of patience for both teams, particularly the Broncos on every set set start that they've had as we go through the tries with Jesse Arthurs.
Well, that was pretty simple. First chance they got on that right-hand side. Egan going to the open side. Johnson going short, and with Palacia coming up with thin air. Left a gap there for Arthurs. He pulled straight through it, and that is our scoreline at the moment. 6-0, Corey.
Yeah, as I was saying, just a real lack of patience, particularly off their set starts. Their star player, Adam Reynolds, has come up with a couple of wayward passes, but the middle third of the battle has certainly been won by the Warriors. I mean, Adam Fanua-Blake and obviously Matt Lodge are winning that way comfortably, well up over 70 run metres to both of them. But you just see the Warriors coming out of their own end, do some nice early shifts to that left-hand side and ask some questions to the right-hand side defence of the Broncos, which then allows the middle players of the Broncos to have to travel and try and fill up. They're just getting really easy metres coming out of their own end, so it's an area that the Broncos will certainly have to fix.
Well, here are the Warriors back at the halfway, Corey. Thanks for that as it goes across to Harris-Davida. Ewan Aitken will leave the club at the end of 2022. Parts unknown at the moment. Hasn't signed a deal with anybody, but wants to come back home to Australia, with the Warriors returning to New Zealand, hopefully full-time from mid-season on. Now here's an issue. Flegler placed on report earlier in the game, but now there's a flare-up. Curran and Flegler coming to grips here in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Okay, time's off.
Replay here will be interesting to see what unfolded as Curran came back on the angle.
Penalty and on report.
Came together there with Carrigan. Palacia looking to get involved, and then He drove it around the hips on that first ankle. Let's take a look here and see the actions of Flegler.
Yeah, it's not pretty, Warren, but it hits him around the short line, which he's able to do while he's standing. It does buckle him over,
That's
and
right,
we don't like to see that, but he is on
Hang on,
report again.
Back we go. Yeah, I've got a penalty. We've got Adden here.
The first
Yeah,
one, I don't know to have a lot to worry about there. He did hit around the short, so it ended up in an awkward position. No doubt for this man, Josh Curran, but
yeah, okay.
it wasn't a classic hip drop by any stretch. It wasn't a cannonball tackle.
No, just ended up in an awkward position. You watched last night's game, the Penrith Panthers, about how they apply pressure when they've got the ball, but also when they haven't got the ball.
For that on the field. We're going to deal with the late tackle. Tom, how we come, mate?
Now, Flegler being called out again.
Where the T is, yeah. Mate, so I penalised the unnecessary contact from Tom. There's also a late tackle in the lead-up. That's on report. He's in the bin.
And the bin. Tom Flegler inside the opening 21 minutes on report 3 times and now in the sin bin for 2 plays.
Mate. When I talk to the tackle,
in the one
there's
tackle.
unacceptable risk of injury the way he comes in with that level of force.
That's going to be every tackle then.
Well, I'll rule on those. At the moment, he's in the bin for the late tackle, mate. Okay.
So a late
thanks,
tackle
mate.
here. Let's take a look at this one and see how this unfolded.
Where you go, mate? Thanks,
One
Sean.
there is okay. No problem there with the efforts on Jazz Tavunga. We'll come back to that in a moment as the Warriors go on the attack. Up against 12 men. Here they are. Having played 10 of their last 11 minutes themselves with only 12 against the Tigers at Campbelltown last Friday night in round 3. Now they have the one-man advantage. Harris DeVita goes to Lodge. Shows it on the outside. 6 more tackles here for the Broncos being up inside the 10. From Tavunga, it's Johnson. Short ball there for Fanua Blake, who spins away from Kelly, who might have hurt himself. Albert Kelly. They're down 2 men suddenly in the defensive line. Play on here. Oh, a whistle for Kelly being on the ground. The Warriors won't be happy with that.
Tackle 2. Thanks, mate.
He was thereabouts in the proximity of the play. And potentially the play comes back towards him, so the referee taking no chances, as we often do these days, the duty of care to the players. Watch it again. He just went down low. Well, he's going to go down low on Fanua Blake. Here it is again.
What are you doing here, mate? Go on the back.
Not really sure what happened there.
Yeah, originally I thought it was a head clash on his hip, but I think it might be a lower leg injury.
Well, it was almost he went as if he went down untouched as he changed angle to come in on Fanua Blake, and there has been a plague of, unfortunately, ACL injuries in 2022, and your heart goes in your mouth when you see a player go down like that so simply without what appeared to be any contact. Now appears to be maybe motioning about his ankle or his foot, and that is potentially a good thing.
Yeah, if anything, you'd rather hit your foot than you definitely your knee. Might be a low-grade syndesmosis, but we'll find out. But I don't think we'll see him again today.
So they're in all sorts of trouble here, the Broncos, at the moment. Johnson comes out to Walsh. Oates coming in. Arthurs again. He has a double. Jesse Arthurs dives into the corner against a 12-man Broncos defensive line, and with Albert Kelly fresh off the park with a leg injury, they go to that side of the field, and Arthurs picks up his second in this first half.
Yeah, it was real smart play. Sean Johnson again goes out the back to Reece Walsh. He throws the dummy and comes back inside, but he knew he had to get the ball to the outside. He kept his feet, he got back inside his man, and then throws a beautiful pass onto the chest of Jesse Arthurs, and he just has to finish.
So that's all hands to on this left-hand side of the field for the Broncos. Oates came in, didn't shut the ball down. Walsh able to stay alive and spin. And with Oates a long way from his normal wing position, it was an easy stroll once again for the former Bronco. Arthurs, who played 17 games with Brisbane. He was a fixture last year in 2021. Now he's hurting them today here in Redcliffe.
There's some strange defence there from the left edge of Brisbane Broncos. I know they just lost Albert Kelly, but Corey Oates comes flying in from the wing trying to shut it down. He comes across two of his own players, and it's just, if you don't nail that tackle, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. And with trying to get a player of Reece Walsh's footwork and ability, he gets to his inside and knows where the space is in the outside. But, you know, even if you are short, come up together, come up square and push them to the sideline rather than making the decision easy for them.
That one really hurts Broncos fans watching on, doesn't it? Reece Walsh, who could have been a Bronco. He was a lower grade Bronco, never played in the NRL. Stays alive in the play, fires a pass to Jesse Arthurs, who's on loan from the Brisbane Broncos. The kick, bending back. He sticks it between the posts. What a kick by the teenager, the 19-year-old Reece Walsh, who is all smiles. Why wouldn't he be? The Warriors 12, the Broncos 0. In the sin bin, watching on, Tom Flegler on report. Now, this is the situation. There was that bump there on Fanua Blake before he came back to get involved in the play with that contact around the shorts, to our way of thinking, for the tackle on Josh Curran. On report, the two situations in the one play and in the sin bin for another 7 or so minutes.
I'm comfortable with the contact on the front rower, Adam Fanua Blake. He's got to go and make him play. He just can't sit back and give him all the time. It's rugby league. You've got to go and make the ball players play. And that was like split-second stuff. And it's unfortunately that the second tackle comes straight after it. Now he finds himself in the bin.
See if he has any issues beyond this match. The match review committee for all three of the incidents he's on report for. It wouldn't be a surprise if he's cleared on all three, given what we've seen so far today. Here is Aitken. Get over the top there by Carrigan. Reynolds underneath. Well, the new skipper's got a job on his hands now, hasn't he? Still with the man missing. At least another 5 or so minutes in this game. And they trail by 12 points to 0. It's all the Warriors. Johnson, good kicking game in this first half with the win. Goes down to Oates once again. Makes a chest catch there. Brings it back to Arthurs. And they'll begin at their own 20. Just need to get through this next period without conceding more points while they're down to 12 men. That's the first task. And after that, try and get to half-time, a similar scenario. See if they could try and grab a try themselves before the break. Bunty Afoa is out there. The lock's flowing here to begin with. Sometimes mid-game we'll throw it in the man bun just to mix things up for the commentators. Haas, play for Turpin. Goes to Carrigan. Good run there. Picks up 15 metres for the Broncos. It's Turpin. Comes back to Reynolds. No real pressure there from Curran. End over end. The kick goes down to Reece Walsh. Looks up. That surface really giving today, given all the rain we've had in southeast Queensland and the northern rivers of New South Wales in recent times. There's a bit of give in this surface.
Adam Fanua Blake at the moment, 10 carries for 103 metres. He's led this side, this Warriors side, this first half. He's still out there battling away. He's got some treatment in the back plate for a hamstring, but he's still in play.
Kick here goes down to Tessie New, who will bring it back. Selwyn Cobbo back there to link up with him. Johnson, Nolan, Harris to Vita. They'll wrap him up. The Broncos so far in the game have only had 11 plays inside Warriors territory. And we've had, to this point, 26 minutes of action. It's an amazingly low number of tackles on the other side of halfway. As a result, the Tony Staggs, to that talking point, certainly has developed over the past couple of weeks. Has had just the one touch for 8 metres to this point in the game. Now Carrigan.
This is a tackle they'll look at as well. That third man coming in, hitting maybe below the knee. We'll have a look at it.
Thanks, mate.
Carrigan stays down, reaches on the inside of the knee, the MCL area. As Turpin gets out, here's Carrigan Stopped by Curran, and then Jazz Tavunga diving in around the lower legs or knees there.
You know, we just can't do it. We've got to protect the ball carrier. He's gone in below the knee with force.
That one there, that is the classic cannonball, isn't it?
Yes, as I said, there's a way to do that third man in, but as I said, not from the side, not below the knee, and not with force.
So it's on report. It's in from the side, mate. It's unacceptable risk of injury there.
So he puts his hand up and says, that's my mistake, fellas, but that may well have an issue with the MRC beyond full time here today. Carrigan still feeling that great, that right knee being extended, tweaked on the inside by that effort from Jazz Tavunga. So a chance here for the Broncos. Try and score one short-handed, 12 versus 13. They go inside the 20. And it's Garcia who will play it here, just outside the 10. From Turpin. Here is Haas. Forward downstairs there, Tavunga and Curran over the top. Slow play the ball, 3 involved in the tackle. Eventually gets to his feet. Slow delivery also from Turpin. Did well to find Reynolds, who wants it. Somebody needs to take a carry. Rabati thinks they've given away a penalty. I'll stop here on the run. They're all at sea, the Broncos. Somebody needs to grab the rudder, point them in the right direction. It is Haas. He's the man for the job. He starts going sideways, though. He's lost in the current also. They've gone backwards. 3 plays, and they've gone backwards successively in each of them. Here's Turpin. Comes across New. Rabati with strong run there on the angle. Stopped by Harris DeVita with the first contact. Ewan Aitken downstairs as well. Last play, Haas. Not a great ball to him. Reynolds. Rubbers for himself. It is the skipper. He says, follow me, boys. I'll steer you in the right direction. Adam Reynolds scores for the Broncos. 12 versus 13.
Well, there was absolutely nothing on. Payne has carried the ball twice in the set. Got shoved backwards. Adam Reynolds skipped across the try line and found Rabati, who poked his nose through the line, but the set was going nowhere. A pass had a dummy half. Reynolds looks up and then just backs himself. Reece Walsh over chases. And that man, the halfback, has dragged him off the canvas and got him back into this game.
Let's be frank, it was an awful set of 6 inside the 20. Kevy Walters will be reaching for the Mylanta as he watched it unfold until this man said, I know what to do, I'll just go to the line myself. Little deft grubber in behind, gets the bounce as well. And Adam Reynolds, they paid him the big bucks for 3 seasons to leave the Rabbitohs to go to the Broncos, and that's why they paid him those big bucks.
Yeah, and sometimes, Warren, it doesn't matter how you get the ball over. If you dive over from dummy half, if it's off a kick, whatever it may be, you just need to get that scoreboard ticking over. And a really important just before half-time, 10 minutes to go. And for Adam Reynolds to get his try scoring going for the Brisbane Broncos. A nice little depth kick.
Challenging the clock. Yeah, I know.
Adam Reynolds here. A byplay with the referee. Was Reynolds going to soak up some extra seconds here? Well, they are down to 12. The referee saying, Adam, you got to get on with things. Either way, clock is stopped at the moment. That's a great result for Brisbane.
Off the back of an ordinary set, a very, very ordinary set.
Completely lost their weight. Nobody knew what to do as Reynolds went to the right-hand side. Eventually, they got a carry from Rabati. He got them a bit of momentum, and Reynolds just took it on his own bat to say, this is the way, boys. A little solo effort is all that's required to get us on the board here today, Corey.
Yeah, he salvaged what you said already. It was an awful set from the Broncos. Adam Reynolds was brought to the club for direction and all the guidance, and to be fair, hasn't really given that in this opening sort of half, but he's come up with a little bit of brilliance there to salvage what was a dreadful set, particularly after what they've gone through in this first half. So we'll see what unfolds. Tommy Flegler's not far from coming back onto the field and making a full contingent.
Tessie New was trying to choke him out there and put him to sleep with a sleeper hold, it looked like, in that celebration. Don't know that Adam was all that wrapped with this. He'll be happy, though, that the Warriors have restarted play with a kick out on the full. And, well, this is very Warriors-ish, isn't it? Leading 12 points to nil, taking on 12 at the moment with Flegler in the sin bin. They concede a try while they've got the one-man advantage and then compound the error with the kick out on the full.
Yeah, I know he's young from an NRL perspective, but you have points scored against you. You just want to get back together and make the opposition come off their try line. Full of energy, the wind behind him, and he puts it over the dead ball line. Now they've got it on try line again. As quick as you blink, they're back on their try line.
Nathan Brown just asking Kevin Wallace if he wouldn't mind sharing those antacids he's ingesting during this first half. Here is Palacia. He'll play it just outside the 20. Turpin waits at dummy half. Comes here to Ryan James, listed in the 8, coming off the bench today for the Broncos in this reshuffled forward pack with the injuries they have to the back rowers. It's New, standing there at first receiver, just losing his footing. He's softest at this northern end of the ground potentially. Now Haas, Aikens there, so is Devunga to close that gap. 4 plays gone in this set. Turpin from 5 metres out. It goes to New. Here's Rabati trying to hit and spin. There was a chance as well until Walsh got there as the third man to stop him plunging into score. From dummy half, New fires it to Turpin. Reynolds feigns the kick again. Walters hit. They came up very quickly. It was Jesse Arthurs who got there to stop the play going any further than Billy Walters.
Well, we saw last time Cozzy coming in and splitting Herbie Farnsworth in half. On that occasion, he got a late ball and he could hear the footsteps coming and he tried to get to the ground as quick as he could. And they come up with possession. Some really good defensive calls there. If you come up and in, you've got to make the tackle, and both times they've done it, the New Zealand Warriors.
Well, there was a chance again for Reynolds to rubber in for himself. This time he went through the hands. Flegler's back out there now for the Broncos. It's 13 versus 13 once again. Johnson comes here to Jazz Devunga. Feigns an offload, will hang on to it though. Warriors have one more play in this set. Johnson will loft it. Pressure here on Oates. It gets back to go to the air, makes another good catch. They've tested him out in this first half. The veteran winger has been first class.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a tactic. Kick it to him because he has got a really good carry. If you kick it to the middle part of the field, Tessie New might carry it, and then you've got to deal with him on play 2. Now you get him with the high ball. As soon as he catches it, you're into him.
Well, the Warriors here up inside the 10, a bit too keen to put some pressure on these Broncos forwards as they carried it from their own end. So Brisbane again, a chance to pick up some easy metres here and put some more pressure on the Warriors before half time. Reynolds kicking into the breeze. Good strike though. It's up about 20. Mix of Warriors fans, plenty of Brisbane support quite obviously, and an almost home game for them. It'll be the home ground, or one of the home grounds of the Dolphins in 2023. Between here and Suncorp, they'll split their action. Flegler picked up here. Rather gently bringing back down through Aitken and also Lodge.
I'm sure Nathan Brown will be talking to the Warriors about...
We're talking about a few things.
Yep.
Chance here for Cobbo. We'll come back to that thought in a moment. We'll finish it now, Flano, as the Warriors again come up with another penalty to compound the mistakes they've made in the last 3 or 4 minutes here.
Well, it's about those penalties. You know, Sean Johnson's got him in a really good field position, kicked high to the left-hand corner of the Brisbane Broncos, but then on tackle 2 or 3, on 3 occasions so far, they give him piggyback penalties out. Now they give him another one on tackle 2, and they've got really good field position going in. There's 6.5 minutes left in this half.
James gets things going in this set. He'll play it here. Turpin finds Haas. Flegler pushing up in support. Haas, though, just says, stop me if you can. Foa under pressure there, so was Egan. Did well. Reynolds shows it back on the inside for Flegler. That Lodge not falling for a dummy. Reynolds touching the back of his neck. Will play it all the same. Tessie New. Is there a set restart there? Montoya jamming in on Katoni Staggs. The bell went off, and then they were ringing for Katoni. And and he's forced a mistake. What an effort by Marcelo Montoya.
It's up here near the 10, mate.
They had a new set coming up as well.
Shot clock's on.
Instead, the Broncos cough it up. The Stags just jammed by Marcelo Montoya.
Yeah, some really good reads from the Warriors outside backs. We spoke earlier about Corey Oates coming up and in, and Reece Walsh getting on the outside of him with good footwork. No chance in the world of this happening with the big winger coming in and nailing his opposition with a great tackle. And he's hard to handle, Tony Staggs, but he hits him in and around the ball and gains possession for his team.
Stop mucking around, mate. Come on, Josh. Ball in.
Back of all the errors they've made, the penalties they've given away. Hang on, the Warriors inside 5 minutes before half-time. Breaking the boys back at the break to take you through what's happened in this first half. There's a fair bit to talk about, a lot of things to go through. Players on report, sin bidding for Thomas Flegler after being placed on report 3 times, and now the Broncos give away a penalty and the Warriors get a chance once again.
As a coach, I'm jumping out of the back of the grandstand with that. You get field position, you've got him in their end, and then you just give him piggyback after piggyback after piggyback.
It has happened both ways in this first half. Here is a foul. They'll play it here for Egan. Goes through the hands of Tavunga. Away for Lodge. Penalty 6-5 the way of the Broncos. This first half, a lot of penalties. Harris the Bitter shows it. Walsh, good hands. Pompey, Montoya! Big play at the other end of the field, an even bigger play at the Broncos try line. He scores. The penalty really hurts Brisbane, and Montoya has the Warriors third.
Well done, Marcelo Montoya. He gains possession down the other end. They put a nice little shift onto the left-hand side of the field, and some beautiful hands and a nice little flick pass out the back. Reece Walsh, quick hands, and that beautiful little pass onto Montoya shows enough strength and speed to get into the corner. Exactly what the Warriors needed just before half-time.
He's held up there. Lovely work by Harris Tavita and also Pompey as well with the tip on. Montoya was able to beat the cover. Although couldn't get there in time. Staggs couldn't shut down the pass. Almost lost his strides in the process, but he's a try scorer just before half-time. What a turn of events. The Broncos having the Warriors under pressure at the other end of the field. He comes up with that big tackle to force the ball loose from Tony Staggs, and then comes up with 4 points 100 metres away.
Yeah, lack of discipline from the Brisbane Broncos as well. Some great defence by the Warriors to gain possession, but then backed up by poor discipline from the Broncos. Jumping the gun on the 10 metres, going quickly, give them in a field position, then have them defend their try line. For me, it's not often you say the Warriors have been outstanding defensively, but they have so far in the first 40 minutes, and I've liked what Sean Johnson's done. He's had 1 or 2, he's taken the line on once or twice, and he's kicked into that left-hand corner time and time again.
Walsh has struck them nicely with this breeze, helping him in this first half. Big banana ball on his last conversion attempt off the back of the second try scored by Jesse Arthurs. Seems like the shape is on this one. Can't get a bit of help from the breeze this time around. He drags it across the face. It'll stay at 16 points to 6, Corey Parker.
Yeah, wonderful little bit of play down this left-hand side. Montoya, terrific little flick pass to Montoya, who scores in the corner. But the Warriors are playing a terrific style of football. They're playing the long game. So often do we see the Warriors just overchance their hand and play, try and come up with a miracle play so early in the game. But they're playing the long game off the back of their middle forwards, Lodge and obviously Adam Fanua-Blake. And on the back of that, Johnson's coming up with the right call. On the flip side of things for the Broncos, as Flano's already mentioned, it's just been error after error after error and ill discipline that's certainly inviting the Warriors into it. I'm sure Kevin Walters won't be happy with that at halftime.
There's a chance here for the Warriors to put more points on the board. 2 remaining. Shallow restart from the Broncos. Good efforts defensively though from Brisbane in the first few plays in this set. As Tavunga Takes the Turpin, another big defensive play. It's an offload though to Walsh. He sees the gap and he goes straight through it. Gives it off. Harris Levita is there. It goes to ground. Well played by Pompey, not to knock it on. And just like that, they're inside the red zone. Dragged down only just by Reynolds was Adam Pompey. Walsh now, midway through the set, goes back to the short side, runs to Staggs, takes them on himself. Staggs stops him, 5 away. Goes from Aitken to Harris DeVita. Egan is there. No look pass. That was extravagant. Johnson kicks. Curran chasing. They all watch it. Oates eventually gets there to clean it up. It will be a goal line dropout.
Wow, all that Curran needed was a bounce then, and he would have just played into his hands. It would have been another try just before half-time. But some beautiful play by Walsh. A little offload there back on the 20-metre line, and then he shows his speed, his ability to beat his man, offloads, and then once again what Corey said at just when we crossed to him, the Warriors don't panic. They get down and play the ball, and then they shift over to here, and Sean Johnson puts a nice little kick in, gets inside another set.
They go short again. Here's Oates flying once more. This time, though, Arthurs gets a hand to it and knocks it back for the Warriors. So they will get the last say. Afoa winding up, running all the way to the left-hand side. Grabbed there by Staggs. 30 seconds remaining. They get in the short side. Here's Walsh again. Pompey, flick pass. This time Montoya can't come up with it.
Right idea, just not enough space. Testing, they had a bit of luck as they just went down there previously, but just not enough speed. Reynolds goes hard at him.
Oh, he's dynamic, isn't he, Reece Walsh? He realised there was a chance there to make the extra man down the short side, and had the pass gone to hand, Montoya might have taken some stopping once again. That'll do us, though, for this opening 40 here in Redcliffe. It's the Warriors at the break who lead the Broncos 16 points to 6. They'll need to be better than they were in that first 40. The one they do have going their way in this second half is they'll have the breeze at their back. So we'll see if that kicking game of Adam Reynolds can use that. They try and peg back this 10-point deficit. They make their way down the long tunnel here at Moreton Daily Stadium. They made errors, costly ones in their own end. They had Tom Flegler go to the sin bin for 10 minutes. That's certainly one of the big talking points coming out of that opening half. Shane Flanagan as to whether he deserved in the first place to be sent to the sin bin and whether he has anything to worry about after being placed on report for 3 separate incidents. Payne Haas, as ever, plenty of touches and plenty of metres.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a lone soldier at the moment. He's carried the ball 10 times for 84 metres compared to the Warriors. We've got Matt Lodge on 103 and Fanua Blake on 103 as well. So what I want to see from this Broncos side is not a lot of flair. I just want them to roll their sleeves up and get into field position enough times to score points. We know we've got Adam Reynolds. We know we've got some players that can score some points, but we need to get into the opposition's 20 zone more often. To do that, they just got to roll their sleeves up time and time and time again, kick into corners and see if the opposition want to do it.
The cool, calm head of Adam Reynolds will be needed like it's really been before for the Broncos in this second half. Third game for him. He missed the first week for COVID protocols and interrupted late pre-season. Some niggling issues, but good to go once he cleared the COVID problem from round 1. We'll see what he can supply here as Reece Walsh gets us back underway for this second half. A kick taken by Corey Oates, who was peppered with kicks in the first half by Sean Johnson in particular. Now Ryan James brings it out for the Broncos. Check some injury concerns for both teams with Corey Parker in a moment here as Flegler brings it out. He scored that one try against the run of play. Down to 12 while he was in the sin bin. Reynolds coming up with a kick and chase. Pass, great ball. Here's Turpin. And promising signs for the Broncos in this opening set. They're back at the halfway line. It's Haas again. Up towards Lodge and also Curran. Big metres for them. Last play here. Turpin comes back to Reynolds. He'll bomb away out towards Marcelo Montoya. Adjusts on the breeze, makes a good catch underneath the balcony of the Leagues Club there at the southern end of Moreton Daily Stadium. We go downstairs to Corey Parker.
There's some of the work coming out of the sheds at half-time. The Warriors obviously very happy with the way they're going about things. For the Broncos, wanted to really clean up on their ill discipline, obviously. But some injury concerns we can see there. There's only 2 Broncos on the bench, that being Branko Lee and obviously Hetherington. So Pat Carrigan, I'm told, has done his MCL, so not real sure exactly the severity of that. And Albert Kelly has done something to the forefront of his foot. Both players I don't expect to be back into this second half, which would then suggest that Payne Haas will probably have to play around the 80-minute mark, because those other forwards are a little light on miles. Obviously Flegler's first game back, and Ryan James also hasn't spent a lot of time in the middle of playing first grade this year, so we'll wait and see how it all unfolds.
That is bad news, particularly for Pat Carrigan. We saw him with the brace there. That tackle by Jazz Tavunga, which Tavunga was placed on report for back in the 27th minute of the first half, so it's knocked Carrigan out of the game. And we'll see what it means as far as the match review committee is concerned for Jazz Tavunga beyond what happens here today in Redcliffe. Offload here though, Cobbo into the backfield, wrapped up eventually there by Adam Pompey. The ball comes free. Almost a professional foul situation there. He took a real chance, did Adam Pompey, in knocking this away from Cobbo off the good offload. It was Palacia who provided the ball for him. There's Pompey playing at it, ripping it away from Cobbo. So Brisbane get the first attacking chance of this second half.
Yeah, 2 really nice offloads. The first one by Payne Haas, and that time by Palacia. Quality offloads to people that are expecting the football.
Here's Flegler, runs towards Egan, the forward downstairs. 3 gone in this second half. They can close this 10-point deficit. Here's Reynolds. Comes to Robati, spins away there from Harris to Vita before Pompey is able to take him to the ground. Desi New at dummy half. Finds Reynolds. Just simple stuff. Back towards the uprights where they get themselves sorted. From a midfield situation, Turpin goes wide to Reynolds, who'll go in between a couple of forwards. Good ball there from Farnworth. Oates trying to dive and reach. Couldn't quite pull it off. They'll check it. The ball came down some way beyond the touch and goal line.
Okay, Shorty.
It's close.
Mate, coming up to tackle 5. Got no try. Confirm that Corey Oates puts the ball touching goal. And can we look at the tackle on Herbie Farnworth in the lead up?
We've got a bit to look at here. Some nice shape out to the left. They go out the back to Billy Walters here. And it goes across the face of Billy, which confuses the Warriors' defence. And a nice pass there.
Looking to clear any contact on Herbie Farnworth.
No problem here with what Ed Coasey does as far as the contact is concerned. He's coming in to make a tackle on a man.
Clear the contact on Herbie Farnworth, looking to see the grounding.
And then Sean Johnson coming across is able to take Corey Oates and to touch.
Corey Oates places the ball on the touching goal line. We have a decision.
It's a good start by the Broncos. They had 2 quality offloads in the middle part of the field, got good field position. They've got some good leg speed going over the advantage line, and they get into good field position. They fire a shot at the Warriors, and they don't come up with the goods, but it's a good start to the second half.
Wait for the tap!
So a near thing for the Broncos. Warriors survive though, and Warriors will get going here from their own 20 as Marcelo Montoya tries to milk a penalty. Nothing doing there. Nathan going backwards, strong defence from Reynolds. Some help. Alpha. Egan waits a dummy half here. Goes beyond Johnson. Now Curran runs towards Walters. Back on the inside for Sean Johnson. His kicking will be vital for them in the second half, running into the breeze. They had the lead back in round 1 against the Dragons before the kicking game evaporated in the second half of that game. And see what they come up with here today when they've got a lead once again. It's a handy one, double figures as it is. Tavunga slides, he goes towards Haas. Egan waits at dummy half. It is Johnson. He'll go to the air first up with Walsh coming through. It's well weighted. Walsh is there. Taps it backwards. A chance. But they'll be held up here. Harris DeVita ended up with the ball in his hands. It's going to be called a knock-on and change over here for the Broncos.
Yes, and a really good play combination between the halfback and his fullback. Sean Johnson puts the ball up, knows that his fullback's charging through in that middle third of the field, and contests with Tessie New, both very similar, not that tall as fullbacks, and he nearly comes up with a good for the Warriors.
The Broncos up against it with the injury news that Corey Parker brought you. Now that Kelly and Pat Carrigan not returning. Flegler at the line, finds Reynolds. Across here to Tessie New, does some dancing, steps away there from the tackle of Chanel Harris DeVita. Completions, by far the better of the Warriors in that first half. 17 from 20 at the break. The Broncos were 14 from 19. Reynolds puts it up. Goes across the ground this time, floating back. Catch there made by Ed Cosi. He'll play it here, 25 out from the Warriors line as Walsh gets to dummy half. Jesse Arthurs having quite the afternoon. 2 tries in the first half. They scored with their first touch inside the 20 in the 5th minute. They're in charge of this game from that point on. Egan here from dummy half, comes across for Tavunga. Ravati called out of it, so there was a chance to offload in the tackle. That's exactly what Tavunga did. He hit the deck there. Was there a bit of contact on Wade Egan on suspicion? Thomas Flegler, a little nervous look over his shoulder. It wasn't Thomas again, was it? Or now? It is going to be a stoppage because it's a nasty gash just above the eyebrow there of Wade Egan. It's a head clash. That's exactly what it was. Nothing more than that.
Coley, can you just watch that?
Yeah, all the Warriors thought there might have been a bit of a push in the back, but it was just a head clash. He'll be okay. He'll get some strapping to it and he'll play on.
Tackle 5.
Payne Haas coming to the sideline.
Kobe Hetherington coming on from the change there for the Broncos. You'd imagine a bit of strapping fix that little split above the left eye for Wade Egan. Nasty one there, right on the bony bit above the eyebrow. Just a bit more scar tissue for Wade Egan. You earn your money the hard way in the number 9 jersey, Shane.
You sure do, you sure do.
Okay, mate, are you keeping
He's been good for them, Egan. He's been consistent out of dummy half. There's an opportunity to run. He takes the run. Defensively, he's been sound. Had a really good start to the season.
Tackle 5, mate.
Up in Mudgee. Tom Travojevic just limbering up those much talked about hamstrings and calf muscles. Seagulls take on the Raiders. That one to follow right here on Super Saturday. Big game for both clubs, isn't it? Seagulls snuck home last week against the Bulldogs in the rain at Brookvale last Sunday night.
Mate, if I got hit,
Danny Cherry Evans field goal got them home 13-12. The Raiders had to come from behind a long way from behind to swamp the Titans in the second half down there at Gilio Stadium.
Interesting to see when we saw Payne Haas leave the field, obviously for a breather. Wade Egan may have to leave the field for HIA, which would then bring in Cody Nicarima into that acting half area, which could prove to be some real danger area for the Broncos, who have lost Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan in the middle.
And a big catch by Selwyn Cobbo, Corey, as well, up above his head. Hands extended, brings it down AFL style. What a leap that was. Terrific catch. Don't see too many of those from the back 3 under pressure inside their own 20.
We heard McInnes before the game talking about how he wanted Tony Staggs to get the football. We see him carry the ball. He's so powerful, but he just doesn't do it enough. He's only had 5 carries or 6 carries for 40 metres so far. I need to have double that.
Well, it's Reynolds for the moment putting it high in the air, hoping the breeze will carry it. Slightly awkward one, well handled by Montoya, who brings it back, and he puts TC Robati on the seat of his pants. Big carry from Marcelo.
Where's this been from Marcelo? Defensively, and then his carries from the backfield have been outstanding.
There's another big carry from an outside back, and Kosi planting it down quickly here. He might have planted it down before he was on his feet or was going to go against the Broncos. He was very fortunate here, trying to play the ball as quickly as he did, Ed Kosi.
They can go either way, these ones.
We see that man there, Cody Nikorima, straight out of dummy half with a running game. We see Wade Egan will have to do a HIA. That was his. That's what he was told, Cody Nikorima. You run every time you get the opportunity.
Wait for the tap. Go.
So Nikorima out there in the dummy half roll. Can be dynamic as you suggest, Corey. Jumping out and play the ball for the Warriors here. They'll get a chance over the next 15 minutes as forward takes it to the line. Here's Walsh pushing up in support, testing out Reynolds and James. He thought there was some high contact. The referee disagrees. Nikorima at dummy half. Flat here on the right-hand side where Eli Katoa is out there. An eye injury last week against the Tigers. Now he's coming off the bench today. Nikorima here, Harris to Vita, Walsh, cut out ball, came off a teammate, straight back to Katoni Staggs. It was building so nicely for the Warriors.
Yeah, he got to the outside of his man. He had Ewan Aiken, and they pushed into the same hole, and he couldn't get the ball across the face of Ewan or out the back of it. Just mistimed his arrival at the station, Ewan. He got there too early.
Came across here, Walsh came off the stomach there of Ewan Aiken, straight to Katoni Staggs, and the Broncos were off the hook. Almost 10 gone in their second half. Long ball there for Reynolds. The breeze at their backs, those long passes can be difficult in this second half, potentially for Brisbane. There's Flegler. He'll put a step on as he comes here. Grabbed there by Eli Katoa. One more play. Slow play the ball. Doesn't help Reynolds out, but he gets a good kick away all the same. It'll go down there to be taken by Kosi. He'll bring it back. Walters is there. So is Keenan Palacia, still playing on that left edge for the Broncos today. Found him out, the Warriors. Their first try through this man, Jesse Arthurs, back in the 5th minute of the game. Curran, he'll take a carry, runs towards Walters, good contact there. Farnworth over the top as well. The edge forward today, driven backwards a long way in the tackle. Vanilla Blake is going back in the right direction though. Fighting to get back to his feet. Walters taking a chance, giving away a penalty. Here's Nikorima, testing out the marker defence of the Broncos. Comes to Johnson. He goes to the air. Going down towards Tessinu, coming forward. Katoa was there. They couldn't quite get to the contest. He was outleapt a couple of times last week by Jeremiah Nanai. In a game he had hat-trick hero for the Cowboys against the Broncos in front of 40,000 fans at Suncorp. Today here a sellout at Moreton Daily Stadium. Just under 10,000 fans made their way here. 9,620 is the official count. And it's a fabulous boutique stadium. And they've come in good numbers as you would expect today with the Broncos here.
And the surface is beautiful. You know, we had a lot of rain all the way up the East Coast, but it's a good surface.
Hetherington poking his nose through the line. Gets a good play the ball away from Turpin. Goes back to Reynolds off the outside of the boot. Cobbo thought about playing it. Bounces backwards here to Stones. There's a touch there by the Warriors and Staggs is away. Grabbed from behind only just by Harris to Vita. Bonus set here for Brisbane. They needed something. Flagler a big step. Offloads as well. Turpin for Walters. Palacia. He comes to Farnworth. Grabbed eventually by the bootlaces there by Sean Johnson. Close range, Hetherington. Bounces off the shoulder there of Josh Curran. Toa downstairs, now Reynolds. Has him in motion on the right-hand side. New, shows it a couple of times, beats Harris to Vita. Under huge pressure there, got some help from Aiken. There's Stagg spinning, throwing an awful pass. That was a pineapple. It bounces up into the arms there of Rabati. They lost their way again. We saw this a couple of times in the first half. Reynolds got them out of trouble with his own try. Now he kicks. He goes out wide. Oates is there trying to plant it down. He loses it. He's gone close now a couple of times in this second half, but no result.
Yeah, better set into the set from the Broncos. And as we know, Adam Reynolds puts it on the spot for his big winger. He comes to ground. He just couldn't get a good grip on it to get it back into Farnsworth, but better from the Broncos. Attacking the opposition's try line, had a bit more organisation, got the ball into the right hands of the right people. They're 6-7 in the 1. Important here that they don't give a piggyback away coming off their try line, which happened in the first half. Turn the set ball over in a good area. Now they have to defend and make the Warriors kick out rather than kick for a penalty out.
Ben Murdoch-Masila is on deck here for the Warriors as Nathan Brown goes to his forward rotation midway through this second half. Vanilla Blake, meters have been very impressive for him again today. Stepping at the line there, Ryan James reeling out some contact after the tackle had been completed. It's Katoa, leaves Flegler on the ground. Johnson put it in the air. Will hang there on the breeze again. Oates getting a bit of help there from Tessie New, trying to do some legal blocking. Murdoch-Masila though, fresh man on the field coming down, crunching Corey Oates for his trouble. Eyes on the ball, he's been terrific here today. They have gone to him time and time again. He keeps making good catches on that left side of the field.
This is where we need to see Kotoni Staggs come in and carry the football out of trouble. Get the ball, he's powerful, takes a workload off his big middle forwards. We know they're missing a few, they've only got 2 on the bench. Come in and carry rather than sit down on your edge.
He's out there getting a drink.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you there.
Comes down the one free kick. Let's take on the full there, Corey. We'll go to you again. It's all yours, Cozza.
No, just agreeing with what Flano had to say there, and just keeping a close eye on Kotoni Staggs. He looks underdone. I know he's a power player. I know he's great with ball in hand, you know, close to the try line, but just watching him do some repeat efforts has certainly got him bent over. He was out on the wing defending before, pushed Selwyn Cobbo into the centre role. So just not real sure how fit or where he's at in terms of his game management at the moment.
Oh, ball put down here by Katoa, and he got rattled as well after the fact by Keenan Palacia. He bounces back to his feet. Took a shot for his trouble. Ball here from Harris to the bit. Not a great one on the shoulder, and Palacia said, whack, cop that.
Yeah, the ball was supposed to go out the back. He wasn't expecting it. Supposed to go out the back to Sean Johnson. He got up and had a word to his half, but he should have been expecting it. It was a late ball on his shoulder. Not something you want.
You've got a big body like Palacia zeroed in on your chest.
Both sides are in a bad situation at the moment, not respecting the football, not applying pressure defensively or offensively, back-to-back sets, or applying pressure to the team defensively. It's just set for set, error for error, penalty for penalty.
No change to our halftime scoreline off the back of all of it. Here is Haas. He brings it towards the halfway line. Such an important game for both these clubs. The Broncos made a promising start of the season. 2 from 2 before going down, beaten badly at home by the Cowboys last week. The Warriors struggled last week against the Tigers, but got their first win. They can win today. They're on track to make it 2 from 2. Both clubs at the same record. Here is a chance for Tessie New. He sends Robati at the line, trying to offload for New, who was wrapping around the back. Walsh picks up the crumbs. Boy, that was a bridge too far from TC Robati.
Oh, it was high risk. It probably wasn't on, and that just plays the way Brisbane, that shows the way Brisbane are thinking at the moment. No respect for the football, no patience, no ability to apply pressure to the opposition.
Warriors back here at the halfway line. It is Josh Curran who'll take it forward. Some young forwards coming out with some plays they would like over again for the Broncos here at crucial times today. It's Murdoch-Masila. 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Johnson at first receiver will bomb out towards Corey Oates again. Getting some catching practice today. He comes forward, or didn't quite get the leap time there. No touch by Oates is the call from Chris Sutton, the referee. It's play on for the Broncos, Corey Parker.
Yeah, just a few positional changes. We see Billy Walters has gone into acting half, has got Jake Turpin onto the bench, which has brought out Branko Lee to this right-hand side centre, which has pushed Katoni Staggs into the 5'8" role out onto the left-hand side.
So a big reshuffle here for Kevin Walters. There is Adam Reynolds going to the line. Branko Lee on this right edge now, taking it back into Warriors territory. Premiership winner a couple of seasons ago with the Melbourne Storm. Hardly played since. Now Reynolds heading to the left-hand side, looking for an option. Finds Farnworth, always a good one given his recent form. Big contact there as he cannoned into Ed Cosi. He's a bit dusty, the Warriors winger. Now Reynolds bombs across the field. Cobbo's out here, put down by Montoya. There's going to be a penalty though for Cobbo coming through and tunnelling underneath Montoya as he tried to make the catch.
Branko.
Who? Offside?
Yeah, mate.
You're 100% right, Warren. He just missed times.
Yeah, mate.
Or miscues the landing spot of that ball and comes in contact with his opposition number up in the air. And it's a penalty every day.
Just couldn't judge it as that one was blown by the breeze. Montoya a long way off the ground. Attack game, the winger again here today.
I like the idea of Katoni Staggs moving into the 5'8" position. At least he's going to get his hands on the football. Don't think about passing. Think about your run first, because he is a powerful runner of the football. One step closer to getting the ball. Could be good signs for the Brisbane Broncos.
It's eight. Bring it back here to Robati at the halfway line. Now for Noah Blake. Stop there with Hetherington underneath. Payne Haas going through so much work again today. 150 metres running. Last 30 tackles to be second only to Jake Turpin for the Broncos. It's enormous how much work he gets through. Here's Johnson from Walsh. Goes to Jesse Arthurs. A goose step on. 4-4 by Farnworth. And also Staggs. The two men that have pretty much seen him online for the moment for the Broncos to the Warriors. Katoa just outside the 20. Last play here for the home side today in Redcliffe. Comes across to Walsh, who puts the foot down, takes them on. He'll dive there on the last. I don't know that he realised it was the last. Complaining there to his teammates, saying, was that the last? He didn't realise, certainly, and turns it over. Drinks break once again. 20 gone, 20 to go in this second half.
Yeah, with that change with Katoni Staggs going into 5'8", he's moved over to the left-hand side of the field to defend. Him and Farnsworth together, got some exciting players over that edge. They need to get the football with a bit of space. Don't try and play around them, just play through them with Katoni.
Carrigan sitting on the bench, watching on with the brace on that right knee. We'll show you the reason why for the tackle in that first half. Jazz Tavunga. We'll see what up here in the tackle, and Tavunga from the side came in and really tweaked that medial collateral ligament in the inside of the right knee, and we'll wait and see how severe that is. Hopefully it's on the minor scale for Pat Carrigan, because a grade 3 can be 8 weeks plus, quite obviously.
Yeah, it's not a nice injury. You know, the knee injuries, they take some time to heal. It's minimum 2 to 3 weeks, more than likely, and they're going to miss him. He's been just a workhorse for him. You know, him and Haas have been the cornerstone of all the good things that the Broncos have done. Payne Haas just amazes me, his workloads. 16 carries, 147 metres and 31 tackles, and just keeps putting his hand up time and time and time again.
Well, there is Tavunga back on the bench at the moment for the Warriors. G'day, Jazz. You might have an issue with the match review committee beyond this one. I don't know if he's smiling tomorrow morning. Next game, we're headed to Mungee, out there in the wine district. It's a fabulous part of New South Wales to visit. The Seagulls take on the Raiders. Corey Hadawid and Nida need to get going and produce their best form. The Raiders got away with one last week against the Titans. And don't forget also, Sunday, the NRL Telstra Women's Premiership is headed to Leichhardt Oval for a doubleheader semi-final, kicking off at midday. The Dragons going up against the Gold Coast Titans, for the Broncos take on the Sydney Roosters. Don't miss your chance to be part of the first NRLW doubleheader semi-final. Tickets starting at just $15, and kids under 15, they get in for free. You can go to nrl.com/tickets. Head out to Leica to see the NRLW semi-finals.
Just in this last quarter, Warren, I'd love to see Shaun Johnson stand up. He's just kicked, hasn't ran in this second half. Get some shape around him and take the line on himself. Harris Tavita can do the same thing over on this left-hand side. For the Broncos, just get some field position. Run hard and get some field position.
Haas will play it. Comes across here with the hands of Walters in the dummy half roll. Hetherington bouncing off the shoulder there of Nicarima. Reynolds to kick from his own side of halfway, end over end. Shouldn't be too much of a problem here. Kosi looking over his shoulder, makes the catch. Wade Egan back on deck for the Warriors, returning from his HIA after that little bump. Split him open just above the left eyebrow. Low tackle there, Walters putting his body on the line, taking down Montoya. Harris Tavita beyond the 30. The headband duo, both he and Wade Egan. It's Egan from dummy half. We'll wait for him to play the ball here from Adam Pompey. Comes midfield, nothing doing for the Warriors. Fanua Blake has to go sideways to get some momentum. Finds Josh Curran. Picked off there by Katoni Staggs, playing it left half, if you like, for the moments. 5/8 roll. Kick will bounce down here away from Cobbo. Tracks it down on the second hop. Bring it back to Harris Tavita and play it. Oh, he's lost it, in fact. The young winger puts it down. And the Warriors a golden chance coming up to make it very difficult here for the Broncos today.
You'll find in these type of games, if you value possession, get to your kick and just keep doing it and putting pressure defensively on the opposition, you'll come up with an error. Unfortunately for the young winger, he's been really good under the high ball and brought it back with some power. He comes up with the error. And a perfect opportunity now for the Warriors to spend some time down here. They don't have to score points. If you can't get points early, get a repeat set. Go again, keep going again, and wear the opposition over.
You pull them together. I need you tied in there. Righto. Ball in.
And Shaun Johnson.
In. Break.
Big chance for him. Put his mark on this game right here. Goes to Reece Walsh. Corey Oates jamming in. The ball came off his head. It'll come back to the Warriors. And then Farnworth drags Kosi into touch. It's going to be a penalty against the Broncos.
And that's impatient from Shaun Johnson. Pulls the trigger straight away from the scrum. Yeah, we all want to score tries, but no patience whatsoever. They jam in and force the error. Lucky to come up with a penalty.
It's over here, mate.
Farnworth took the odds to it. Figured drama if he drags him into touch, and is penalised because they had 6 more plays anyway, the Warriors. Penalties go their way now, 8-7. And begin here through Jesse Arthurs, itching for a hat-trick today against his old club. This may well be his future club. Katoa plays it. Here's Fanua Blake. Murdoch Masilla rumbling back on the inside. Fanua Blake, though, will hang on to it. Hetherington takes him down. Second numbers on this left-hand side. Harris Tavita for Aitken. Nothing doing there. Good contact between Reynolds and also Brinko Lee. They've used up 3 plays. Comes back to Harris Tavita. Fanua Blake just brings it back towards the post. Options either side here. Taking this right edge. Harris Tavita is there. Goes to Johnson. Cut out ball. Oh, a chance for Corey Oates. He might have gone the length of the field had he taken that, but he puts it down. He can't believe it.
He puts himself in a really good position in between the two, the centre and the winger, and he has a crack at the intercept. Just couldn't get hold of it, and I would have loved to see a foot race. 90 metres.
Oh, I think he had them done, surely. Adam Pompey on the far side of the field might have been the only man who might have got to him, or maybe Montoya, but giving up a head start there. What a chance. It slips through the fingers of Corey Oates.
Stay down, Wade.
15 remaining. Warriors come at them once again. Here's Walsh. his silky skills put a bigger gap between the Warriors and the Broncos here this afternoon. Reynolds talking to him. Maurice responding, enjoying the contest. Murdoch-Masila. Quite the frame to stop from close range. Hetherington downstairs did well. They go wide again. Johnson, Curran puts it down this time. Crash ball from close range. He couldn't hang on to it. The Broncos survive.
Yeah, some poor football. Sean Johnson tried to go over the top the play before and nearly come up with a try for the Broncos. And on this occasion, goes to his back rower under pressure. Probably should have caught that pass. A lack of communication more than the pass. He didn't expect it, right into the line. Once again, the Warriors turning over some cheap footy in really good field position.
Put it in, Sean.
And the Broncos make something of the wasted chances by the Warriors. They're a long way from the try line at the moment, 80 metres in fact, as Labate takes a carry. Stopped here by Curran and also Katoa. You wonder what they've got left in the middle. Well, it's Flegler coming on. Some fresher legs for them here as Payne Haas tries to get going with the Warriors. Showing no signs of cracking and giving them a chance at the moment. Reynolds hanging on to it. They're up very quickly there. Arthur's in the back line. Stop the pass from Reynolds. Now Walters from dummy half. Right there by Eli Katoa. Last tackle here. Their last play options need to be perfect from this point on. It looked like to be a forward pass from dummy half there. That is disastrous. It might be more than disastrous. How does that happen?
Well, Billy Walters went to dummy half and he jumps out of dummy half. He's playing hooker at the moment. He actually plays the ball and Tessie News at dummy half. The front row pushes through as a lead runner. He needs to find his halfback there. He's a little bloke with tattoos that they spent a lot of money on, standing there waiting to kick it.
I don't know what he was thinking, Tessie knew. The dummy half didn't look. All he saw was a flash of a Broncos jumper on his outside. It was just a forward running a decoy because it was the last play and it had to go to Adam Reynolds, the bloke you signed on all that money to be the key playmaker. Never got a chance on the last play. It's hard to believe. Now Wigan from dummy half. The Warriors looking to put them away, but they've been battling that knockout blow. Curran puts a kick in this time, tackles up their sleeve. Now it's his chance to take his head off and replace it with a pumpkin.
Yeah, and Sean Johnson jumps back to the short side, shaking his head. He needs to take control here. Curran's had a mind snap there and kick the football. Just run it and get down and let your kickers kick the football. Once again, these two teams just have no ability to apply pressure, no ability to just to be patient and get field position.
Can't imagine what both coaches are thinking watching this unfold before them. It is Staggs, he puts it down. Broncos make a mistake. Boy, tough for Kevin Walters again here today. Corey Parker watching on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a forlorn look for Kevin Walters, and rightly so. There's been a couple of really underwhelming sets by both sides, but for the Broncos, I mean, we see Tessie go into dummy half. He needs to come up with the right play. He's a spine member. He understands the game and what needs to happen, and failed to do so in finding Adam Reynolds, which then just alleviates all the pressure that they're trying to do. As for the Warriors, well, Sean Johnson's just not pulling the right rein on the right-hand side. They need to set up on the right post and come to their favoured left-hand side with Reece Walsh. He's asking a lot of questions. There's been a disjointed defensive line. You've got Adam Reynolds and also Cobbo. Staggs has obviously gone from that centre area over to the other side. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Here is Walsh on that left-hand side. Turns Pompey back on the inside though, and they'll begin here from a great attacking situation. 35 metres out. It's to Vunga. Take it towards Hetherington, an offload. Quickly they go to Johnson, who runs towards Flegler. Slows things down, has a chat to the support player, Sean Johnson. Great carry. Fanua Blake obliges, rumbling to the 10-metre line. Now they're set. Here is Walsh, off the left, off the right, turn, pass inside out. Couldn't maintain his feet in doing so, though. 2 plays remaining in this set. Fanua Blake Will show Johnson, grubbers for himself. It sits up. Oates comes back, saves it for the Broncos.
And he needed to. It was nearly in Sean Johnson's hands. Corey Oates just come from nowhere to knock it dead. A beautiful little kick by Sean Johnson. Just needed the right bounce. It bounced in between both, but Corey Oates, some real urgency to get back and save the day for the Broncos.
Well, they've gone short a couple of times, and they've gone short to Corey Oates. Surely they're going short again for the big winger. Here he is, out wide. It goes towards him. Does he get there in time? He doesn't. The kick was too big. The best part of 25 on the full. That was too deep for Oates to get there in time.
Josh Curran did a great job protecting his catcher there.
Murdoch-Masila, he reacts badly here to an effort in the tackle. Flegler was around the legs. And Murdoch-Masila, his head went back as he was going to the ground. Flegler, shake of the head. Watch this again. He's third man in here. Oh, and it's a classic hip drop tackle. That will be a major issue for Thomas Flegler. He'll be on report here in a moment for the 4th time in the game. Watch this. Comes in, spins and throws his hip onto the lower leg there of Ben Murdoch-Masila. That's a shocker.
Yeah, I think the other angle's worse. He comes in and gets him around the waist, but he uses his body to bring him down. And there is some weight on the lower leg, the ankles of Murdoch-Masila. I feel sorry for the young man. There's no intention in it. He just needs to change his tackle technique.
Well, that one should be a sin bin. That's undoubtedly a piece of foul play that would have him back in the sin bin for the 2nd time in the game.
It's poor technique. There's no intent in it. It's just poor technique. He needs to do some work on it. We can't have that in our game.
Murdoch-Masila will come from the field.
Tom.
And Flegler will join him beyond the playing surface itself. Surely.
Yeah. Right, so you got a hit drop here. It's a penalty and it's on report. Tom Flegler. Thanks, Tom.
So if he,
Mate,
hits, him,
thanks,
if
mate.
he hits him around the hips and goes slides down, is that a hip drop?
Mate, that's been looked at. It's a hip drop. So we've got a bigger issue now. But that's 4 incidents of foul play on Tom Flegler. I can't continue to just penalise him. He's already been to the bin once.
Can I word him before we stop?
We can while we've got time off. But, mate, if I have to deal with him again, it won't just be a penalty and he's
hitting
on the
through
field.
the hips and just dropping down.
I'm not debating the tackle. You said you wanted to talk to him.
So somehow, amazingly,
Okay, mate.
from my way of thinking, Flegler stays on the field, but on report for the 4th time in the game. The match review committee will look darkly, you'd imagine, at what just happened there on the field. And Ben Murdoch-Masila, coming off the back of right foot surgery in 2021, has another issue here. Watch this once again, as his right foot is planted, and Murdoch-Masila just Flegler throws himself onto the lower body there. I mean, it's a tackle we're trying to remove from the game, a technique we're trying to remove from the game. I'm surprised he's on the field still.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the referee handled it really well, and the way he spoke to Adam Reynolds. Gave him an opportunity to speak to his player. They get a shot at goal here now to take him out to 18-6. The Broncos need to change something quickly, real quickly.
To make this 2 converted tries. With less than 10 minutes remaining, Reece Walsh goes through his extravagant pre-kick routine. A little longer than usual, kind of using time on the clock. Flags up. It is 18 points to 6. 8 minutes remaining here in Redcliffe. Corey Parker.
Yeah, very much unhappy return for Tommy Flegler. He's only just come back from suspension for that high tackle on Jack Williams, and you'd be sure to think that after 4 times he's been put on report that probably something will come out of it this week at the match review committee, but unhappy return for Thomas Flegler.
I don't know that he has, in my way of thinking, Corey, a lot to worry about with the first 3, but I think that one there, that will be an issue for him, there's no question. First game back after he was suspended in round 24 in the 2021 season. And Jesse Arthur's going to go short again off the restart here. The Broncos comes up with the ball. The Warriors well on track here to make it back-to-back wins after getting home against the Tigers. A tight one, 16 points to 12. A game in which they also had a one-man advantage for at least 10 minutes of that game. Here's Fanua Blake. He's been so impressive again. Going to run for almost 200 metres here potentially today.
Yeah, he's been strong. Defensively, he's been sound, and the way he's carried the football. This whole second half has been played in the Brisbane Broncos end. It's hardly been down the other end.
Here's Johnson going towards Corey Oates. Once again, they'll let him make the catch. They'll wrap him up. That's all they have to do. Was there a little bobble there from Oates? Well, he's looking to the referee, thinking there might have been a little juggle there, which could have been a knock-on by Corey Oates. Watches again as he goes to the air. No, well, oh, he did have a little second dip before it didn't hit the turf, though, so he hung on to it. That's all good. The Broncos need a miracle. 6 remaining with 2 converted tries. Haas, inside ball for Tessie New. They were late to respond on that left-hand side, though. Palacia got there eventually. Links up with Reynolds. Oates on his outside. Reynolds goes to ground. They're back at the halfway line. Never great, though, when Adam Reynolds gets tackled towards the back end of the set because they need a playmaker to stand up. Who's going to put their hand up here and say, I'm in control? It's Walters. He goes to Tessie New. Out ball. Renko Lee puts a kick in. End over end. It'll bounce down to Reece Walsh. Still bouncing on this firm, fast surface. Walsh, all the poise in the world, was hoping that had beaten everybody beyond the dead ball line, but Selwyn Cobbo, he thinks he got there to plant it down for 4 points.
Tackle. I got no try. Confirm that Selwyn Cobbo bounces this ball in trying to ground it.
Well, Selwyn Cobbo's given that he scored this try. Sort of went out of camera. We all thought it was just going to be escorted over the dead ball line. He didn't give up on his chase. And who knows, we might have a try for the Brisbane Broncos.
Is onside. Tessie New will keep an eye on him on the inside.
Ooh.
Touched a fingertip of Selwyn Cobbo, but he knocks it on.
Close, but not close enough.
Not quite. Reece Walsh doing everything he could to shepherd the ball from Selwyn Cobbo. He looked over his right shoulder and realised he was there fairly late in the piece. Well, he gets a finger on it, and then the finger is still there as the ball hits the deck. Are they going to say this is okay as far as
Selwyn Cobbo bounces the
pressure?
ball in the in-goal area, constituting a knock-on. We have a decision.
That's the way it normally gets ruled, but some of those are a lot tighter, and had that gone green lights, I couldn't have complained.
Well, his finger touched it while it was off the ground, and then it came off the ball, and his finger went back on it when it was on the ground. He has to regain possession, I think.
You're saying it was 2 touches, not one of the finger.
I don't know what I'm saying.
His hand went back and to the right. It's the Zapruder film, back and to the right. Selwyn Cobbo. Close. Try for the Broncos. Great Seinfeld episode, if you're familiar with it. Here is Buddy Afoa. Takes it beyond the 40.
Warriors really been about sharing the workload. They've been really good at sharing the workload right across their team. Their outside backs have carried the ball coming off their try line. They've done a lot of work, and then their big men have rolled their sleeves up, and their halves have done a good job with their kicking game.
Now, Cameron brings it back here to play it just outside 30. You would think very close to being home now. One more repeat set potentially here. Lost their way slightly on that play. Down to the sideline. Now it's Johnson back towards the middle of the field with his bombs away. Comes towards Selwyn Cobbo and Tessie New. Cobbo coming forward. Another touch on this one, more than a finger on this occasion. It's given the Warriors 6 more plays. They're knocking on the door now. Back-to-back wins. Well, in fact, the Broncos give away a penalty. And Jake Turpin is going to be sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes for a professional foul.
Mate, that's a penalty based on a slow play the ball. You can't challenge a slow play the ball.
It's a knock on and then we
I don't rule on that. That's what you're challenging on, the speed of the play the ball. He's in the bin.
It's a knock on in the same play.
Yeah, you challenge the decision I've made. Okay, he's off the field. Yep. Sweet.
The referee's get-out clause here is he's saying, I didn't make a call on the play between Selwyn Cobbo. The only call I made was on the professional foul with Jake Turpin laying all over the man with the ball.
It's a fair request by Adam Reynolds.
Time's back on.
I don't think he's going to get his way.
Can I just ask, is that the same play? It's the same play. Like, it's been happening every round.
Mate,
they challenge back to the play the ball.
Yeah, so the issue is what I finish up ruling on. It's a bit of a technicality, but it's just what it is. That's not what happens, mate. That's not the ruling. Reece, you are kicking for goal? Right, we're going for 2, guys.
Adam Reynolds, I guess, could say that there was a knock-on there by the Warriors. I'm challenging this call.
First error.
I'm saying there's a knock-on by the Warriors.
Yeah, and he's got a fair claim there. I think it might have been knocked on by, as he's come through, the fullback to catch that kick.
No, mate, I wasn't sure what you said.
And it was before the next play the ball, so he's got the right to challenge. Cobbo comes through. That's a knock-on. Can Reynolds go straight to him now and claim a knock-on?
So in the referee's mind, he's saying there was no knock-on by either player, and it's just play on to that point.
Minute 20.
Adam Reynolds, I would have thought, is within his right to challenge it.
Agreed.
Seems a curious one. So Reece Walsh again put this one to bed for the Warriors. Inside 3 remaining. He pilots this one through. The flames go up, so do the flags here at Redcliffe. And if they're home away from home, the Warriors will open their account here in Moreton Daily Stadium. They'll be 2-2 on the cusp of the top 8, potentially by the end of this 4th round.
Yeah, they've done a really good job today, the Warriors. As I said, spread the workload right across the 17 players. I've been really impressed with their back 5. They've carried the football when they needed to, and they've finished some really classy tries. And as I said, their middle forwards, when they get it together, they can be really powerful up there with the best.
Broncos go short again off the restart. They get a result this time. It missed everybody. Palacia ends up with it. Well, the Warriors and Nathan Brown will be delighted they've got a second win to improve to a 50% record now. The Broncos will also be at the same mark at 2-2, but feeling much worse about where they stand on the Premiership ladder. Given their performance last week at home against the Cowboys, and again here today, admittedly with injuries. Jordan Ricky missing, Kurt Capewell also, but they've been all at sea today at times. Here's Reynolds, comes out the back, New, goes across there, a little in and away. Cobbo fires it into the face of Brinko Lee, and the Warriors are celebrating now. They know they've got this one in their back pocket.
And we said it in the first half, it's not often that you talk about the Warriors defensively. They've been sound today, they've been solid, they've worked together. They've had some really good decisions about coming up and in on the edge. That time they slid, forced him over the sideline. As I said, a real team effort defensively.
They have been good enough here today off the back of wins against the Rabbitohs and the Bulldogs. 2 low-scoring, hard-fought wins for the Broncos, being beaten as they were last week. And then this effort today, it looks like they have slumped back into the sort of form that they have just limped through over the past couple of seasons in both 2019 or 2020 and 2021.
I'll just wind the clock down here, just one out running, get some good field position. And I'll go to that man probably again, Sean Johnson, to put it over the sideline.
Time off here is Jazz Tavunga. Places his glass slipper.
Yeah, not on it. Play it.
Inside the final 60 seconds we are. Lucky Foe to take it forward. Looking ahead next week. Big game for the Warriors. They'll take on the Cowboys. And then beyond that, the Roosters and the Storm. So 3 big games coming up for the Warriors. But if you're going to be a factor as far as the top 8 is concerned, you've got to beat one of the best teams in the Premiership, quite obviously. They'll get that chance with the Cowboys, who are in action later tonight on Super Saturday against the Roosters. That will be a beauty. A little litmus test for both clubs, given what they've shown so far in this new season. Kick bounces here for Corey Oates. He's had more touches than anybody on the park, it seems, today, given the pressure he's been under.
All the kicks there from Sean Johnson. Adam Fanua-Blake, more metres than anyone on the field, 154.
Reynolds grubbering there. Cobbo missed it, so did Brinko Lee. It ends up in the hands of the Warriors. And so do the 2 Premiership points this afternoon. At home at Redcliffe for the first time in 2022. They've been too good for the boys from down the road. The Warriors at full time have beaten the Broncos 20 points to 6.